ICP peeps, welcome to week 7.5. I know that this is a couple of days late, and I apologize for the lateness of getting this up to you as a video message. I'm sort of still getting into the groove, and it just completely spaced out that I should have put this up for you. At this point, everyone should be in Unit 2. And in Unit 2, we're looking at different states of matter, solid, liquids, and gases. And while there are a couple of other different states out there, like plasma, for instance, we aren't going to necessarily explore those. We're going to explore the three major ones. This first unit on matter is going to explore the different states. And a big difference between the different states of matter, solid, liquid, and gas, is the energy found within the particles. The particles, these really tiny things, these things called atoms that you might remember hearing about, and molecules, which we'll be exploring further. We're looking at the different amounts of kinetic energy in these different phases. And you'll see that as the kinetic energy increases, the particles move faster and faster. And in effect, they move more and generate, we're going to find out, more heat. And so we can actually use temperature changes to kind of see as we move from phase to phase, from a solid to a liquid to a gas. We'll look at a graph to see how to measure it and how to identify the point, the temperature at which phases change. And we'll look at the kinetic theory, the movement of these particles, a little bit more closely, focusing on gases and different gas laws. Now, within this, there's quite a few puzzles you've probably noticed. I know a bunch of you have been going through and working on them. But there's also going to be options for completing labs. The first lab, it's not in 2.3, I lied. It's in 2.4, kinetic theory of gases. And in the kinetic theory of gases, it's not here now because I'm putting it in right after I'm done here. You're going to have the option to do a lab. You can do the lab at the Move Up Academy, or you can take the box of materials home with you and do it at home. I do want to talk about this lab, though, because it will require you to use the stove or a hot plate that we can provide for you. And with the stove or hot plate, comes safety precautions. Normally, if you were in a lab with a science teacher, we'd be able to watch and make sure that safety precautions are being followed. However, as we will not be there with you, we are going to have you have a parent or guardian print and sign their name saying that they will be there and that safety precautions, use caution when using a stove or a hot plate and always keep oven mitts on, safety precautions are going to be followed. It's not a dangerous lab. I know at this point in your life, you guys have probably made something on the stove before, but we just have to be safe when doing it for a school-related purpose. I hope you understand. If you don't think you can do this at home, you can do it at the Move Up Academy. The one thing that I will say is that it will probably take a big chunk of your hour. If you're there from 11 to 12 on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, that would be a great time to do it. I do need to know ahead of time if I'm going to be working with you on that. And the reason is that we need ice. And I don't know at the moment how we're set up at the Move Up Academy for us to store ice. So I would be bringing ice in that day, or there's a good chance I would be bringing ice in that day of the lab. So if you want to do it at the Move Up Academy, you really do need to email me and set it up ahead of time. If your class does not meet during my office hours, you can still do it. Just set it up. It would probably be like an after school on a Tuesday or possibly Wednesday, Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but I just need a heads up notice about that. Okay, so that's the note on the lab that's going to be planned for the fourth part of our unit. It will tell you in the directions. If you do this at home, I do want you to videotape yourself doing it or take pictures throughout to document it, and that's what you will be uploading for it. There's going to be one other mini lab, I guess you can call it, in the assessment, and that has to do with, does water boil at 100 degrees everywhere? So in the assessment, you'll see that I am going to ask you at home, and this one will be an at home, you can borrow a thermometer from the Move Up Academy to measure the temperature that your water actually boils at home. And there will be directions for it. And again, videotape it. And the reason is because we're going to upload this information to a global database that tracks the temperature that water boils at different elevations, different GPS coordinates around the globe. And I think that would be a great way for us to participate in something outside of our classroom. And so I am going to include that as an assessment piece. And that ties into one of the activities that you guys actually did. Was it in 2.2 or 2.3? Let's see. Right here, 2.38. Does water boil at 100 degrees everywhere? So that ties right into that activity. You will also have, as part of your assessment, you will have to create a tutorial. You'll have flexibility on whether it's a video tutorial or if you're going to do like a screencast with Cami or slides. But you're going to create some sort of tutorial on one of the gas laws. And finally, you will have a quiz for this unit. So I'm expecting you guys to start finishing that up next week. Next Friday, the 11th, is what I'm putting in for the deadline. So that is going to be your goal, your aim to complete it by. Also, don't forget to take notes on your module sheet. The module sheet is in a very first page here for solids, liquids, and gases, okay? Email me if you have questions. I know we're kind of getting into the groove, and we're either like the excitement is wearing off or you're starting to get bogged down, I'm sure, with other classes that are going to be piling on the schoolwork. So, the novelty is wearing off, I'm sure, for some of you at this point, but we still got to stay with it. Progress reports will be coming up for you in the next week or two, I believe. And so just please stay with it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep plugging away, and we will make it through. Okay, I'll talk to you later. See ya.